Hello Synapse community, my name is Ryan Majitimer and I'm a product manager on the Azure Synapse Analytics team. Today is the November edition of the Learn Synapse series. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can use a metadata-driven copy task to automatically generate a metadata-driven ingestion for a D365 business application. It's going to be very simple. We're going to be using the ingestion wizard to go step by step. And it gets even easier than that because we're going to be using an existing Azure SQL database control table data store, as well as an existing D365 connection for our source. Now, if some of that stuff sounds confusing, especially the D365 connection, we covered that all in our last episode, the October edition of the Learn Synapse series. Well, let's jump in. We start this process in the Synapse Studio homepage and hit the Ingest button. From the Copy Wizard, we're going to leverage the metadata-driven copy task and define below the controlled table data store. We're going to hit New to create a new connection to our Azure SQL database. As we hit the Next option, this will take us to define our source type and set up the connection. We can search for our Azure SQL database connector in the dropdown and then define the properties of this new connection. We just need to define a name for the connection. By default, we can leverage our integration runtime, and from our subscription, we can pick up our server name, database name, and authentication type. In this case, we're leveraging system-assigned managed identity. If you run a quick test connection, you're going to see an error since we still don't have a user in our Azure SQL DB. We need to run a T-SQL script in our Azure SQL DB to create the user and add that user as a DB owner. As we can see now, after this, we can test connection again, and it's going to succeed on that task. After our controlled table data store definition, we need to populate the table name. Once we finish setting up the connection, we can hit the option to test the connection to see that everything works fine. As our next step, we will be using this connection in defining our source data store. As the source type, we're going to select our D365 connection. After selecting account and contact tables, we can define if we're going to do a full load or configure this for each table, and even preview the data before moving it. In the loading behavior option, we're able to decide if we're going to do a full load or a delta load or incremental load. Let's define the destination type and connection. In this scenario, we're picking as a destination one of our Azure Data Lake Gen 2 instances and browsing one of our containers so we can drop our tables into one folder. We're selecting our bronze folder within our Data Lake container. We'll be creating a new subfolder to identify what will be for our D365 ingestion. We can also define the file structure or type, which in our case is going to be a Parquet. As soon as we move to our next step, we can define the file format, Parquet, and the compression type. And finally, we can set up some additional settings such as task name, description, and so on. We can review all of the properties in our final step before proceeding. After all those steps, we can see that the process is deploying. We can take a look at all the tasks such as creating datasets and pipelines. And we can also check that as our last step, we will be generating some SQL scripts. We're going to copy the SQL query as an outcome, and we're going to use that query in SSMS and execute that query within our DB to create our control table. After executing that query, we're going to see a new table. And then with a select statement, we're going to see two new rows, which are our D365 entities, account and contact. Going back to Synapse Studio in the Integration Hub, we can check our pipelines and notice that we have a new folder structure with our new pipelines. We can hit the debug option in the main pipeline to check our run. After that, and monitoring that run has run successfully, let's go to our Data Hub and check that our ADLS Gen 2 storage that we're landing two new Parquet files in has one for our account entity from D365 and the other one from our contact entity. Now, let's run a T-SQL select statement just to check the content of those files. we can check the content of those files here. Going back to the integration hub, let's edit our pipeline to check the structure and the query that the Copy Wizard tool is bringing to our control table. We have even the option of adding a new entity, and that's going to bring us an updated T-SQL statement for our control table that we can run in the Azure SQL DB. One of the great highlights here is that you can use Synapse Studio to edit the control table. The UI can generate SQL statements required to insert new metadata for ingestion of additional tables. Advanced users of Synapse pipelines can customize the auto-generated pipelines according to their needs. Well, that wraps up our video for today. Tell me in the comments, was using metadata-driven copy tasks to automatically generate pipelines as easy as I said it was? I would love to hear about it. At any rate, my name is Ryan Magittimer. You can find me on Twitter, of course, but you can also find Azure Synapse on Twitter, Azure_Synapse. Also, if you love Twitter, if you love social media, I have just the thing for you, the Azure Synapse Influencers Program. We give away swag, we've got private events, very fun, very fancy. At any rate, it's very cool, very easy to join. You can find more information in the description for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.